Michigan's car insurance rates are still some of the highest in the nation, despite efforts by the state to lower them. Local nonprofit Outlier Media has been reporting on the impact of those high costs. Joining us now is one of Outlier's reporters, Koby Levin, and Melissa Love, a Detroit resident interviewed in the Outlier story. Thank you both for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for being here.
So, Koby, tell me what led to this investigation, looking into this. We've known Michigan and Detroit in particular have these very high rates for some time. Why did you guys really want to dig into this?
So the story really starts in 2019. Lawmakers went ahead and changed our insurance laws. Folks all over the state have been raising concerns about high prices. And one of the lines that we heard most frequently in Detroit is, well, these reforms are going to make things more affordable. They're going to bring down prices. They're going to end the practice that a lot of folks called modern day redlining, where Detroiters are paying these very high rates compared to the rest of the state and even surrounding counties. So we wanted to ask, did that happen? Did it come true? And unfortunately, the evidence is pretty clear. Detroiters are still paying these disproportionately high rates. And it's a major factor in people's basic life decisions in the city.
Yeah, and that brings us to Melissa. How has this impacted your life and your choices living in Detroit?
It impacted my life. I have to walk more, take side streets, just because of no insurance. So it takes me, I have to take a longer route than normal, because I don't want to get caught in a misfire.
Yeah.
But not insurance. Yeah.
Koby, you mentioned the rates haven't been lowered all that much. I know at the time Governor Whitmer said this wasn't perfect, but that it should lower rates for several years for pretty much all Michiganders. So has it just been a slight lowering? What is the data showing you?
Right. So we did see prices tick down by some accounts. Folks are saying that now they do seem to be back up. But the important thing to note is that price disparity. What a lot of the advocates and folks like Melissa told us is really unfair pricing, where Detroiters are paying much, much more just because of where they live in the city, right? Not because of their driving record, not because of anything they can control. That disparity, the inequitable pricing that we see in the city, has not changed at all, as far as we can tell.
Yeah, growing the state's population and the city's population specifically has been a huge goal. We've heard many leaders from Mayor Duggan to Governor Whitmer talk about that quite a bit. Based on your reporting and all of the people you've interviewed for this, how do you think this might play a role in those efforts to get people to move back or move to the city or state?
Well, it's a big deal. We talked to plenty of folks who said that they had moved to one side or the other of 8 Mile and saw their bill change drastically. We actually were able to sit in a Zoom room, kind of like this one, with some Detroiters as they worked with an insurance agent who had agreed to go against his contract and show them quotes if they just moved out of the city, right? Same person, same driving record, just a new zip code. And we watched their jaws drop as their prices went way down. And, people have a sense that this is the case in Detroit, but when you see those numbers on the page and you're talking about paying, $1,000 more for 6 months or more, when you're just moving a few miles away, it's a hard pill to swallow, and it really does matter in the decisions that people make about where they live and how they shape their lives.
Yeah, so there's been a lot of criticism for the no-fault reforms. There's a lot of awareness that this remains a big issue. Do you have any sense as to whether there's hope, that whether there are enough efforts to kind of turn this around in the foreseeable future?
I wish that I could say, as a Detroiter who pays extremely high insurance rates, that we had seen kind of immediate reform proposals. We did hear from Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib, who has talked about wanting to prohibit some location-based pricing at the federal level, but it is unclear when and if that could make a difference for ratepayers here in Detroit.
Yeah, a policy change at the federal level, we know, not a simple or fast process generally. Well, Koby, thank you so much for your reporting, and Melissa, thank you for joining us as well today. We appreciate both of your time.
Thank you for having us.